we ran into Soder a couple nights ago, and he told us the funniest story. So John wasn't drinking that night, and Dan has not been drinking anymore.
Yeah.
And both of them ended up housing O'Doul's. I've never seen my life.
Buckets of
They got
O'Doul's.
buckets of O'Doul's. He drank like 10 O'Doul's.
Yeah.
And because you know, like when you're drinking, you're getting drunk so you can drink hundreds of ounces of something.
Yeah.
When you're not, he was just like, I just got a belly full of
non-alcoholic beer.
Yeah.
By the end of the night, I had to lean like to a certain way because my stomach was so bloated. Like I was like standing at the bar like this because it was uncomfortable any other way.
But so Dan got so excited, he's like, he goes, I'll do some NAs with you, let's go. So anyway, they're drinking the non-alcoholic.
This is the attic and Dan.
Yeah,
He goes, what is that? Is that almost like kind of beer? I'll take it. Give me
I'll take it.
Like 40 of them. You're like, I think it's like it's supposed to be like just a minute-long thing you kind of do and sit it down empty. Not supposed to pound them, dude. Like he's doing like a shotgun in it. You're like,
bro, this was Shane's exact answer. We told Gillis, and he was like, this is the most alcoholic story I've ever heard in my life. Like, it was slamming O'Doul's.
You think they're still open, dude? You think they can go get some? You're like, yeah, man, I think a child will sell them to you. It's not. It's what are you talking about? Here you go.
He told us though that he had once devised a plan. I don't know if you were involved in it, but he said he was going to come out of retirement.
Oh,
drink. He said he wants to get the Ocean's 11 team together of drinkers.
Yeah.
But like within like 2 seconds, he had himself drinking like 3 days ahead of time.
He told me the plan.
Yeah.
And so he tells me, and he goes, I won't mind one time going back. And like, I don't drink anymore. And so there's a lot of us that don't drink anymore. And so he's like, all of us would go back. He said, we'd do it at the Creek in the Cave in New York, and when it was still in New York, she's in Austin now. And then he said, we'll go back there. And I was like, yeah, that would be great, right? And he's like, yeah. He goes, I would probably I would start Thursday. Because I don't want to just like Saturday, I want to like warm up to it. So because I would do Thursday, probably have a couple beers, nothing big. Then Friday I'll come in, have a few more, maybe a couple shots, just so I get prepared for Saturday. I was like, yeah, dude, this is why you have a problem. Like, this is a made-up scenario, and you've already built in days that is like coming into this. So this is
Sunday morning, a few mimosas to work it off.
Yeah, you go, the next day, a little hair of the dog, like you got to do that, and then I'll start smoking again to get back off the booze, and you go, well, this is a nightmare now. You made it a whole thing. He had last night. Because I don't drink, so we have NAs at in our tour bus. And I went back in the bus like at the end of the night. Like I always have, like after my shows, I have now this is your old man. I have a Halo Top and 1 to 2 NAs, and so I go back in there last night. I'm like, they're all gone. And Soder drank, like a 12-pack. I'm like, Soder, what are you doing, dude? Like
they're like specifically designed to be like a placeholder.
Yeah.
So when you're out, you don't feel awkward. You can kind of sip on it. You're not
it's not. It's nice. You feel you're part of the crew, and you just feel like it's after a show, and you're like it's like 12 Bud, like ice NA. Like NAs are always like this weird,
I was doing the math on it.
Dry heat, Bud dry heat. You're like, there's no alcohol in it, but the can's a little different. And you're like, could y'all make it look a little more? It feels a little. Everybody's always like, what's that?
That's a 0. We get the zipper. Like, what's the zipper? Yes, the follow-up question. Mind your business. It's not alcoholic.
Let's just say I can drive home tonight. All right, and I'm fine.
No, we did the math. I did the math, and it's like I drank like honestly like something like 250 completely empty calories that day.
But how good did you feel the next day? That's what you got to remember.
Yeah, that's true. I felt good.
You have no headache. That's what it ends up coming to. When the older you will get, you end up seeing like, all right, I put up. Hannibal Buress told me this when we first started drinking. He goes, I put up some good numbers.
Yeah.
Our jerseys in the raft.
It's like a career. Yeah.
I did it.
Yeah.
I did. When someone's like, you're not drinking, you're like, I did all that you are doing now and that you think I didn't do. I did it all and maybe more.
Yes.
And so I did it. I don't need to do it anymore. Every day you wake up is awesome. Last night I didn't get a ton of sleep, but I'm not here like just miserable, dude. Like it's just you actually chase dreams. Actually, when you're drinking, you get one dream, and you can only go after that one dream. There can't be another. Someone's like, "What about this?" You're like, "I can't do. That's too much, man. I mean, how much? I'm barely making this one." And then as you get otherwise, you're like, "Yeah, maybe I will try it. I have time now. I'm not,
I'm gonna go dig a tunnel.
You go dig a tunnel. I mean, can you imagine that guy can't drink?
No.
That guy is not gonna cheat on you digging a tunnel.
Hungover has got to be the worst fucking thing I've ever heard of in my life.
I mean, can't even imagine.
You know what?
It's cold though, cold down there, and you're like,
A huge thing for me, slowing down. I'm not like totally off it, but I mean, basically am. Once I had kids, taking care of kids hungover.
No, they don't care.
They don't understand.
Yeah, they don't understand.
And there is no amount of fun. There is no party. There is no appearance or person or concert or something that is worth the next day when like a 12-month-old is just like, play with me, fix me, feed me, keep me alive.
Yeah.
Like, oh.
Your 1-year-old could knock on the door and say all that stuff. You should have done a higher age than that. You're like, your 12-month-old? You go, yeah, she pulls up in the car, she backs the car out. I'm like, oh, gosh, she's 2. And so, but yeah, when the kids, it makes it, you just don't want to be miserable. And it's not feeling miserable because it just starts. The older you get, it hurts.
It
gets real,
awful.
dude. It gets awful.
I remember it's just not worth it. It's like a risk. It's like, that's fun, but it's not as much fun as that is bad.
I remember a guy when I lived in New York. When we lived in New York, you live in a town, like a townhome that's 3 apartments or something kind of. And so the basement below us was this construction worker. And I mean, so you can hear you're in a house. You're in a house, but you're 3 different families. But you hear everybody.
Right.
And then we would hear him. I'd hear him. He'd come home so drunk at like 2, 3 in the morning. And then I would hear him at 6 a.m. and just like put his finger down. So you hear him like, and now you just hear it. It just comes up like through the wall, and you just hear this guy's misery. And he's just doing it every night. Yeah. And you're just sitting there like, oh my gosh, like. It's a guy that, he was at that point older than me. I mean, I was still drinking at this point, but it's like, you're like, is that what it become? It just becomes that. Right. And you got to go do it. And that's the life that you have. And you have there's no way, like your life is kind of miserable until you can get it pounded away with enough alcohol to like kind of then move on.
Became accidentally bulimic. He's got like what do they say with bulimic? Like
teeth start rotting.
You get the enamel off the teeth.
Yeah.
Like,
yeah.
You bulimic, bro? Like, no, I'm.
No, it's crazy.
I wish.
It's not enough for people. Like you got to have a rock bottom moment usually, and that should be it.
Well, your rock bottom might not be what you think it's going to be, because it's like you can think it's going to be one thing. I locked myself out of my hotel room naked once, so that wasn't rock bottom. I kept going after that. You think that would be it? It's always you just end up. It's how you feel, and you just end up being like, I can't do this. Eating is like I'm learning with eating now. Like it's like I still want to eat this stuff, and then you're like,
you're a great reformed eater, because I know me and you used to eat the same.
I can still do it. I just know how to do it. Like
you do it. I still.
Yeah.